Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Monetize Your Talent series. It's an exciting one that has been in the works for almost 3 months now. And with us today is my boss and mentor, Mr. Osaru Jackson. Before I give him the floor, just to give you an insight to what we've planned today. It's about remote work in 2026, what it looks like for the average remote worker coming out of emerging markets. Um, what recruiters are looking to see, and what the remote place culture is like today, and what we're still going to see 2026, 2027. So I think, Osaru, I'll give you the floor to introduce yourself before we kick off.
Hello, hi, great man, and audience here. I'm happy to join here. Happy to be on this series today. Osara is my name, and I've been in the tech space for quite a bit. I mean, started my career at Unified Payments, which is one of the legacy payments companies in Nigeria, and worked for a couple of other fintechs after that, and worked with Boats at the operational level, right? And then moved to Glovo, where I led expansion, helping Glovo to expand within Lagos and outside of Lagos before I left and joined Binance. Joined Binance as good marketer, up to strategy and up to marketing and sales, marketing for Africa, all of Africa, which basically has, I think, shaped me to be who I am today, having touched multiple hats, talking about operations, business development, marketing, expansion. So I'm the guy who has been everywhere a little bit and done a little bit of every other thing here and there, different industries and all. So happy to be here and happy to be with great man, strong great man. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, you've been someone that has been in leadership positions, and you've had the opportunity to hire like remote talent at scale. So what is, let me put it this way. How has remote work been, when you joined in versus what it is like today to join the system and to scale within, a remote work system?
I mean, I think one thing critically is the fact that the competition in that space is getting fiercer, right? It's getting fiercer, especially as we see employees get more comfortable with the remote culture. We're seeing better, people are reporting better work-life balance, right? Due to the remote culture that has been used globally. Um, and so you would see that people are even taking pay cuts, right, in favor of working hybrid or remote fully. That's how much important that space is right now. And then it then means that the competition in that space is tougher than it ever was. As we even see more congestion in urban areas where which causes traffic to get to work, and all that. So people just they're preferring the idea of sitting at home. And so in a nutshell, what that means is the fact that you are now competing not just with people within your local environment, within your country, you are competing with workers, employees in Ghana, in the US, in the UK, which means that if you're going to be employed within that space, what is that tipping point for you? What is that advantage that you have that would make them look through um, all applicants across geographies? Why would they select you? And so, I mean, I think I'll just say is the fact that it's more competitive within that space right now, and you have to do much more now than you had to do before to clinch a remote role. Yeah.
I mean, I like how you put it this way, how people are trying to take more pay cuts to get into remote work, because we're seeing that, hybrid jobs, going to the office work, it's becoming more stressful. More and more people are coming out of school, especially when you stay in a place like Nigeria, a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
are on the road, and it seems like the the aspect that you put your life expectancy rate seems lower this period than it is before. But at least with remote work, you have a fighting chance. You can decide to take, PTOs, take off periods, and you can also like work from the comfort of your home. You can decide to
Mhm,
travel and still work from anywhere in the world, right?
mhm,
And I think that's like a good thing. So you've seen like a lot of capable people miss opportunities. It's very important, when we talk about remote work, because a lot of people seem to think that remote work isn't fair. Personally, I agree that remote work isn't fair. It doesn't reward everybody. But what do you think are some of the things that make capable people miss opportunities, especially in the workplace? And
mhm.
how remote is. They are not seeing you. They are not seeing the effort you are putting in on the side. But I give you an instance. I might be working on something, and I'm putting in so much work, and a colleague of mine is working on something, but I know for my own end that I'm putting in a lot of energy, but somehow this guy is getting rewarded for doing something less that I'm doing. But what do you think
Yeah.
is the difference that sets this Mr. A apart from Mr. B?
I mean, those are scenario based, right? So a few things may be responsible. One, the guy who's getting rewarded may have understood the system better than you, right? He has
Uh-huh.
basically understood what success means in the organization, right? You think this is what success means, and so you are doing what you think is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But this guy has mastered the culture. He knows what success is. Yes, success is X, Y, Z, right? And also he's busy with that. Or he probably has understood that it's 20% of the work that will give you 80% of the results, and he's focusing on that. So he's looking like he's doing less, but what he's doing is more strategic. You are doing so much, but you are doing so much within the space that is not delivering that much results. All right. And so, because finally the organization is looking to reward people that are bringing in the most outputs, right? That's number
True.
one. So it's like it's a case of what is most important in all I'm doing right now. What is most important? What will give me the most results? I could do one, two, three things. However, out of these three things, they will take this amount of time. But if I put my effort into this, it may be the one place that small thing I do can have a ripple effect on
Yeah.
these other things. And I do that. It looks like I'm not doing so much, but that thinking process around doing that one thing, that's some work itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the organization wants that because you are thinking in the direction of where they think output is coming from and what they see as important things to do. Number two, now in a case where you are similarly doing the strategic things, that I mean, you're doing 20% that's giving 80% of results, and you're still not
Yeah.
getting that, you know, growth in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Then it comes down to perhaps visibility. Visibility, which is critical right now in the works in the remote workspace. I mean, no, people don't see you as you move. I mean, if you were, I mean, in the early days where we're working off-site, I mean, people see you in the office, and then I was working at both. I mean, you are seen carrying your laptop, moving from one meeting to the other meeting room. You are seen as active, right? They can just say, okay,
Yeah.
this guy is busy, he's on his laptop, he's on his system, he's doing stuff. I mean, we had a manager then who will sit in front of his laptop, even on his birthday. When we're celebrating his birthday, he brought his laptop into the bedroom. I'm like, oh God, what's this one now?
You understand?
Behave yourself, John. Come on, stop this now. Come on, behave yourself. But people could see, and people created perception on that. Oh, the guy was working. But
Mm-hmm.
those things were you didn't need to engage with him to see that he was working because it was an off-site work. We could see remotes. Nobody sees you when you are grinding. All they see is your outputs. Now,
True. True.
that output that they are seeing itself, are they seeing it properly? Are you showing it off properly? The culture I've seen in Africa. The culture I've seen in Africa is that Africans do not put a spotlight on their work, on the work they do enough in the global
Okay.
workspace. We don't. I don't think we shout enough about our stuff. We don't shout enough about it. We sometimes underplay our outputs. Maybe because over time we have been sold the idea that we have to do above and beyond. We have to go well above and beyond before we celebrate those wins. And so we feel like the wins are not they're not celebratable in that sense. And so we do some stuff that makes sense. We just keep them. We're waiting for a bigger win. Whereas your colleague in Asia, in Europe, he moves a cup from this part of the table to this other side of the table. He's put a story behind it that, earlier in the day, I moved a cup containing liquid substance from an angle 90 degree to 180 degree, which did X, Y, Z. Yeah. Bro, this guy just moved a cup of water from here to here. But the story he puts around it, where he posts those information, how he handles it, makes it look like this is a big stuff. Sadly, some cultures, some work cultures are such that those at the top don't even drill down to see. They just say, okay, you are showing up more. You are showing up more on Slack. They are seeing your post more on Slack. They don't have the patience to even look through what you're reading. But the fact that you are showing up is creating top of mind. It's creating top of mind in the minds of leadership that this guy is there. He's visible. Yeah. He's there. Yeah. They're not even bothered about the details of what he's even posting or what he's saying. They're not bothered of the output of the result itself. It's not that he's bringing up information of what he's doing. He's showing that he's busy. Now, certain cultures will deal with that certain work cultures will deal with that in different ways. But pretty much, I'll say visibility is one thing that would make those who are hardworking, colleagues who are hardworking, one is seen, the other one is not. It's visibility, how you position your wins, right? At what time do you even celebrate those things? Is it when the job is done, or do you want to even do them when you hit milestones? Oh, we're looking to hit this amount of success. However, we've reached 20%. The average guy in Europe will probably post and say, hey, we've reached 20% result. The guy in Asia will post when they get 50%. The average African wants to wait till he gets 100% before he posts. By then, the ovation is not that loud anymore, because if in the minds of leadership, it looks like, these are taking quite a bit of time. So they're not carrying them along on that journey. They're not putting the right stories behind those things. I'm saying in a nutshell, you have to learn to not wait for the big successes to show them. You don't have to wait. It's how you craft them and how you send them in the places where top people are, who will see. They may say nothing, but there's a top of mind awareness has been created by that. Yeah. Those posts out there. And like I said before, nobody is seeing you. All they see from you is whatever you send on the Slack group, whatever you send anywhere. That's what they see. So you have to show up. You can't. The days of I'm shy, I just want to be in my space and corner. You can't survive that way in the remote space right now. You can't. That's thing of being conservative. I just want to do my work and let my work speak for itself. Bro, your work is done. We can't speak for you fully, man. You got to speak for your work in the global workspace right now. You got to speak for your work. So as you do the work, you must also work on the narrative that you want to send out there, so that, because your work can't speak for itself alone, sometimes right now, you got to speak for your work. In fact, it gets to the point where you do the work, somebody else takes credit for the work, because you're not speaking for yourself. Somebody takes the credit, and your name is not mentioned at all. So you want to own your success. It's just the way it is right now. And finally, understand whatever system you're working in. Understand the culture where you're working in. Understand the culture and play the culture, but ensure that you are showing up. And nothing is too small to show up for. Is how you see it, the narrative you put behind it, that would matter in a nutshell. Yeah.
You've hit a lot of chords. Some of these have been lessons that I've had to learn the hard way, and I think a lot of people are going through it. It's something I recently called the African humility, which I don't know who instilled it in us. That the little one you're doing is not viable enough, right? And it's not meant to be celebrated. If I talk about this, they will laugh at me. I'm not working the watts to which they are paying me for. And I think it's something that I have had to intentionally unlearn. And I'm glad we're having this conversation this evening. So I see that a lot of comments are coming in. So before we continue, guys, welcome to the 7th edition. Welcome to the 7th episode of our Monetize Your Talent series. If you're just joining us, we're talking about remote work trend in 2026. Here with me is my brother and mentor, Osaro Jackson. He's worked in many leadership positions in marketing and operations for a lot of global brands. Um, Boats, Binance. You can not to mention a few, right? So I'm just going to give you a few shout outs to Bolas Alam. Thanks for joining us. Let us know where you're commenting from. If you're joining us, I'll be giving you a shout out. Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. Rume Ofi, thank you for joining us. Chidima, thank you for joining us. Winnie, thank you for joining us. So, guys, we want more people to join this live. So, if you wouldn't mind, please send out the links to your friends, to your family to join in. We have a lot of valuable information we want to share with you. Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. IB Douglas, thank you for joining us. Kuyuko Bon, thank you for joining us. I see a lot of us are getting some value already. Kuyik says African humility. This is very relatable. We always want to be in the. We
No,
always want
that
to be
has
in the.
ended.
It's a very
You know,
difficult conversation. I'm going to share a little bit about it. So I've been in the workplace for a while, and I was performing to the best of my ability.
yeah,
And I used to get a lot of wins, but I didn't know that I should put these wins out because I
yeah.
thought that okay, I was doing so well, and I think I held myself at a certain level. I'm like, okay, this win is not win enough for me, you know. And then I came
Great man,
into
great
the
man. Wait,
global.
just hold on. One thought is even coming to mind. You remember? I mean, myself and Great Man worked together at,
Yeah,
at Binance.
finance. Yeah,
Great Man had his social channels was one of the biggest, right, in terms of the followership, engagement, and all of that. But Great Man would work in silos. We don't make noise. We're just doing our thing.
yeah.
Social channels are growing. Engagement is growing. Until one day, somebody from another region with a way smaller channel that she's
Boosted.
growing, she posted and she was like, Great Man should come and start, more like Great Man should come and start meeting her for Great Man should come and start reporting to her in a sense. And I'm like, what rubbish is this? Like, you have a bigger channel, she should be speaking, she should be coming to you to learn. But you know, she was so bold to reach out to him and told you that Great Man has to report his own stuff through to her because she's like, you know, that thing blew
If
my mind that day, and I'm like, I know, Great Man, remember the discussion, right? When we had the discussion, I'm like, no, this has to stop, right? Like, we got to
yeah,
start.
we had to start telling them that okay, look at this is the most followed regional channel, the most engaging. Like I literally went back to that conversation to tell her that okay, this is what I've done, this is what we've done, these are the campaigns that we've done, and then we realized that she didn't even have some of these in her region as well, and the conversation shifted towards okay, let's have a sharing session, and I was like, wow, we've really been closing our mouth for a long time. So it brings the conversation that it's very important you speak about the little that you think it's not big enough. It's the remote workspace, and I bless God for having Osaru as a line manager. He really taught me how to be out there, guys. If you're not out there in the workplace, if you're not out there talking about what you do, talking about how what you're doing is affecting or influencing the business outcomes for whatever company you're working for, they will take it that you're not working. There's no middle line. You are either working or you're not working. And before you know it, they start talking about laying off conversations, and you start hearing your name in places that you don't want to hear your name in. Right? So visibility is very, very important. And also let's even bring it, I know now we're talking of people that have gotten the job. Let's talk about people that haven't even, come into the remote space.
Mm.
you know what are recruiters expecting from job applicants right now? We are in a place where a lot of people are using AI to apply for work at scale,
Mm.
right? And right now, recruiters are doubling down on personality. You start hearing about soft skills like, oh, how is this? Is this person learnable? Is this person teachable? So tell me about what the view is like from your side in the leadership position. When you're reviewing applicants, what are you looking out for? And yeah, so you can just expand on that so
Yeah.
that people here that haven't applied for remote work can know how to position themselves better in 2026.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that first, You have to understand that there's no emotionalism in the workspace. There's no emotions there. It's about, can you help me solve a problem? And so when you sit with me in an interview room, when you sit over the table in an interview room, my thoughts are, you want to sell to me the idea that you can make my life easier. You can solve my problems. I want to see a problem solver. My the first job I was going to ever get after school, it was a group interview we had. And we were all sitting, it was one of the banks in Nigeria. We sat down in a boardroom with all of us who were applicants, and it was a call center job, just to tell you where we started from. It was supposed to be a call center job. And the manager asks that, tell me about yourself. And everybody started talking about themselves. One of the guys said, I'm the firstborn of 4 children. And I'm like, oh, ain't nobody want to listen to this about what number you are, right? Being my first time, it just felt like this is not what she wants to hear, right? Nobody cares about whether you're the first child, that you're carrying responsibilities, or you have problems to solve, or you have financial issues. In fact, that interview ends for me mentally if that's the way you start about it. I don't want to solve your problem. I want you to solve my problem. Just the way you go to an hospital.
Okay.
You don't go to the hospital with the mindset that the doctor will be looking for you to help them. You are looking for the doctor to help you. And so if you don't see capability in them, if you don't sense capability and proficiency in them, you make them to just change. You say, hey, I don't want this doctor anymore, because what you're looking for is solution. So number one thing is this. And the era of vibes, and for certain recruiters, for people like me who have sat down as an interviewer for multiple candidates, right? What I'm looking out for is hands-on skill. Can you do this thing? Have you done it before? Because I get my hands dirty a lot also, you can't wiggle your way around it, because I'm going to ask you detailed questions. Show me how you move from here to there. I want to see your thought process. Have you done it before? Can you give me results? And don't just give me, I want you to tell me how. I want to show me how. Move beyond telling me to showing me how you got those results. I'm saying that capability is one thing that is being looked out for, right? Ability to deliver. Which means that when you get into those places, if you have the chance, so before you even get into those rooms, what will even make you stand out? Your CV, your LinkedIn profile. When I go through your LinkedIn profile, I should be able to see that. I should be able to see the problem I'm trying to solve. I should see a sign that you've solved kind of problem before. And so it means that in your profile, your LinkedIn profile, or whatever it is, your CV, you can't be too scattered. Which means that, for example, it gets to the point where you got to have specific CV for specific roles, so that specific CV speak to certain job functions and expertise, and you can narrow all your thoughts within that CV to that. For example, somebody like me who has done marketing, business development, expansion, operations. So I have several CVs, right? There's a generalist CV I have. I have CV that speaks to my role. Which my generalist CV speaks to my role as a COO, Chief Operating Officer. Because it touches on everything I've done, little here and there. There's also the CV that talks about my operational capability. And so I'll begin to show you how I improve processes, how I improve systems, basically cut time of doing certain things. I have put structures in place to make things work faster. I will show that in that CV. If I'm going for a business development role, then I want to narrow down to the things I've done around business development and show how I was able to get clients, bring clients on board. I was able to help businesses open up new business channels, open up new revenue channels, open up all of those things. Those things show up there, right? So you can't just be. So I'm saying getting a job itself is also a job, because then this takes a lot of thinking. It means that your CV cannot just. You can't just do it. You can't just do an that CV. Your LinkedIn profile has to show some of those kind of things also. On your LinkedIn profile, if you have a bit of experience, don't just show me what your responsibilities are, where in the places you work or the place you're currently working. Can I see some achievements there? Can I see some percentage growth in what you did? I did this, I got X amount of growth. We're not saying state your exact, we're not saying share company data. but I moved this by 2%. Now, the details, you don't need to give those details. I'm saying I want to see some of those things. To the end that he said that by itself, without even speaking, I'm able to see your thinking process, I'm able to see your thought process. That can even get you an invite into an interview. And when you come to the interview, my job will then be to ask you how you got it. And so you will be able to tell me that when we did this marketing campaign, I started with the ideation. From this ideation stage, I moved to the point of getting stakeholders to buy into it. And because it was a cross-functional campaign, I spoke to the different stakeholders, got their buying into it, and then we came up with an execution plan. And while executing, I encountered this challenge. I did 1, 2, 3 to solve the problem. And then we ran the campaign. The campaign was targeted to achieve this. He achieved X, Y, Z instead. And we looked at it to see where were the bottlenecks, where were the blockers that made us not achieve. I want to hear those kind of thoughts. To show that you show that your hands are dirty. I want to see how you're thinking. I want to see how you're working. That's number one. So I talked about ability. Don't go into an interview room without understanding what they want you to do. So you can't, if the job is a job where, if it's a marketing role or an expansion role, get into that room. Let them know that you understand maybe the market you're expanding to. Let them know that you understand that market. Let them know that you understand the regulatory constraints around getting to that market. What's the behavior of the people in that market? If you have done stuff in that market before, how did you do this stuff? How did you achieve it? What did you do? What were the things that you found out? So I begin to see you as an expert in that field, and that I need to see you as an expert, because all I'm thinking about is I want to be able to give you that job, as it were, and not have to think about it to the end that I know that you are covering that space. So I'm looking at somebody that can help me, that can take burden off me. So that's number one thing. Expertise, right? It means that you have to know your onion very well to a large extent. Number two, you need to have cognitive flexibility. The remote workspace, it's ever evolving. All of the corporate organizations, global organizations itself, they are still trying to find the right balance, right? They're still trying to find how to achieve the best productivity with this model, with this remote work model, whether it's hybrid, whether it's fully remote. And so a lot of changes are happening. All right. With AI coming in, a lot of things are changing in processes. They are infusing AI into the operational process, into the marketing process itself. How fast are you able to change? How fast are you able to change without reducing your productivity? So they'll be listening for that. They'll be listening for that, your cognitive flexibility. Do you feel stressed by change? Do you feel stressed by leadership change itself? What if your manager gets changed 3 times in a year? Right? How have you dealt with that? So we want to show some of those things, because those things are also strength in itself. They are strength in itself. So you want to bring that to bear also, right? Cultural adaptability, right? In the remote workspace, you're going to work with several people from different cultures. Are you adaptable to people from other cultures? What does that mean? For somebody like me, I'm Nigerian. Sometimes our voice is sometimes high pitched. Look at mine right now. I'm not quarreling right now, but look at how my voice is. And sometimes that can also show in my messaging. I had to learn that. There was a day I was speaking to someone. I was asking him for feedback. A Singaporean, asking him for feedback. And I sent a chat to him. And this guy responded with like, what nonsense am I saying? I'm insulting you. I'm like, oh, yo, man, what's happening here? You know the person I'm talking about, one of the SEO guys.
Yeah, I figured.
No, man, what's happening here? I just asked you for feedback. But if he said that was rude to him, that my tone was rude, I'm like, oh. So I took a step back, apologized to him. And like, for my Nigerian guys, normal gists. So I also had to learn, my talking, my face, it must show. Yeah. You mustn't use while you are interviewing, avoid racial slurs. Don't avoid it by all means. No matter what it is, avoid racial slurs, because people are listening for that. They don't want you to come and disrupt the culture in the place. Come and those cultural issues. They don't want to come and rock the boat in that respect. And yeah, I think let me stop there just in case you have other things to ask along those lines. But yeah, so I talked about skill, I talked about ability.
Just confirm you can hear me. I think it's lagging for a bit. Guys, let me know if you can hear me in the comments. Let me know if it's coming from my end. Let's give it a sec. Let me try to fix this. Oh, I think that the network just went out. Just confirm you can hear me in the comments, and then I'll try to reach back to my host as well. Okay, you can hear me. Awesome. How? Godwin is here in the chat. I need to bring you up. I don't know how to bring someone up on LinkedIn, but I should bring you up for my next Monetize Your Talent series. So I think my host has some technical issues. I'm just going to try to reach out and see how we can sort that. So it's so important what he's been talking about. Just give me a sec. Yeah, so it's important what he's talking about because you see this. I'll just start from the cultural nuances. Apparently, on the global stage, it looks like Nigerians we come off as aggressive, and you have to bear this in mind when you're going to any remote workspace. Um, the chats are superficial. The way you communicate here in Nigeria is not the same way that they are going to receive you as well. So you also want to study how they have their conversation, and while you try to keep your originality, you want to try to keep it in a way that you can interact with each and every cross-functional team, and without just sparking some of those cultural shocks. I like as Rume mentioned that. So okay, I think my host is back. I'm just going to bring him on the stage. Yeah, sorry, welcome back. I think you.
Sorry, man. Nigeria happened to me.
No, it's fine. It's been a week. It's been an evening full of surprises, but we keep moving forward. So I'm trying to explain in terms of the cultural shock that it's good that we have an awareness of it existing in the workplace, so that some of these conversations, when they are being had, we don't have it, we don't hold it close to our heart and be like, oh, this person has hurt my feelings. You know that this exists, and we also try in such a way that when we are keeping our originality, we also try to blend it in such a way that we can, interact with them as well and make them understand, okay, this is what it is on our end as well. You talked about ability, and it's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration, especially on LinkedIn. I see a lot of people coming to LinkedIn. You're looking for a job, but you're talking about motivation. You're talking about personal development because you're seeing other people, share about it, share about writing on LinkedIn, and you think your goals are different. We have a course right now on LinkedIn optimization and LinkedIn for wealth. So if you need it, you can comment LinkedIn in the comments. Someone from the team would reply you, and we can take off that conversation. The whole goal of this is to explain that if you're coming on LinkedIn, you have to have a goal. The CEO that comes on LinkedIn that is looking for collaboration, his goal is different from the job seeker that comes to LinkedIn to look for jobs. It's also different from the business owner that comes to LinkedIn to look for sales. It's also different from the LinkedIn influencer that knows what will go viral. Virality does not give you work. I repeat again, virality does not give you work. That your post went viral and went to like 13,000 people. It might be you made a post about a cat that was one of these AI cat videos, and it goes viral, and a lot of people connect with you, and you post that you've gotten new followers. And then you watch when you post about the main thing that brings you to LinkedIn, you're not getting engagement on those things. So that means the algorithm has carried you to the wrong people. right? So this is something you need to take into cognizance, especially when you're saying you are attracting remote work. If you're looking for work, like Osaro said, talk about what you do in line with what you are applying for. I was on a live stream with a LinkedIn CV reviewer, and he mentioned something that was very, very paramount. And it's something I used to land my new role. Now, what was that? It says optimize your LinkedIn profile for the job that you are going for. Let's say you're going for a marketing manager role, or you're going for a content role, or you're going for a video editing role, or you're going for an influencer role. Your profile should be talking about what that job is and how you come into that job. What is your thought process around that job? What are the challenges that you think companies are having that you can solve? That is what your profile should be talking about. Your profile shouldn't be you are looking for a content or marketing role, and you're talking about um, how you read 3 books a day, or you're talking about how you went to the gym, or you're talking about how you know you are on diet.
Very dynamic. Yeah.
While you're talking about someone, or you're talking about you grew your followers from 1 to 20K followers in 6 months. Those things, while they are good for the algorithm, you have to understand what your goal is. If your goal is remote work, this is where you're looking towards, right? And I think last year Osaro talked about the adaptability. It's something that is happening in the workplace, especially if you're working in crypto. I know a lot of crypto bros are here. If you're working in crypto, you know that the landscape shifts sometimes every 2 months, sometimes every month, in some places every 3 months. So you have to be ready. Like what was trending or what was bringing you results might not be what will be bringing you results in the next month, and you have to be ready to pivot. You can do like a strategy that is running for 90 days, and within the next 2 weeks, leadership has changed direction, and you have to start new sets of proposals, new sets of strategy, new sets of budget alignment, and everything. And if you're not able to pivot fast, it becomes a problem for you, right? So these are some of the things that I think if you're looking for remote work, if you're looking at what remote work is going to be like for you, you should think about this. So Sarah, I want to ask you a question. Let's say I'm just going to come from the job seekers front, because I see that a lot of people that join our live sessions are people that are looking to get into remote roles. So from a recruiter's view, right, you see someone with or rather you see someone without big brand names on their CV, right? I know you've mentioned about ability. Now I'm trying to see people that don't have big brands on their CV. How can they land interviews with their CV, even when they've not worked for Google, they've not worked for Binance, they've not worked for some of these big brands? What are the credible proof that you look out for on their CV, or are they just doomed? Let me put
Oh
it
no,
that
no,
way.
no. I mean, no, it's not. It's not. It's not doom. Um, so pretty much. First, I think people are looking for. I mean, I know a couple of. I know for certain roles. Certain roles, recruiters look to poach from certain organizations, right? To say, hey,
Yeah.
let's get guys from XYZ from Google and all of that. There's that. And there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do to find that. Meanwhile, for those guys for those roles, they're usually at the senior level anyway, right?
Uh-huh.
Entry roles are usually coming from almost anywhere, if you get what I mean. Entry role, mid-level role. I mean, mid-level roles, there are times where mid-level roles also, they are sometimes specific about where they want to get them from. But you have to learn to, first, it's a perception thing. Understand that you yourself, you are a brand by yourself.
Okay.
Finally, what they are looking for is results. You get my point? What they're looking for finally is results. I mean, I'm of the Christian faith, so I'm going to bring a bit of that into this. David was going to fight Goliath, and his resume, all he quoted as in resume was, "I've killed the lion and the bear, and so I'm able to deal with Goliath." He made reference to what he
Mhm.
did in killing lion and bear. What's the correlation between lion and bear? You shall kill something. It wasn't, and that was done without visibility. Nobody was watching you. It was just you, and it's your testimony. But you have to own it, and then use it as
Yeah.
a springboard to deal with Goliath. My point is this: ignore what that you know what the big brands, the small brands you work for. What did you achieve in those places? You have to be very.
Okay. Like
You
proof
have
of
to.
work.
You have to. What is the result you got from there? From there, in fact, you are better off in those places at the start of your career sometimes, because those places will stretch you. So I mean, it will stretch you in the sense that they can't employ 10 people to do one person's work. So you are the one person doing 10 person's work. At the initial stage, it looks like a bad thing. They are killing you and everything. But you know what? You are getting better. You are getting stronger. You are becoming that person that knows a little about many things, and then you can now choose where you want to specialize later. You are the person that nobody can in local parlance, bobo, because I've done this,
Yeah.
done that. On these places where in an unknown brand, in fact, they're even happy that you're doing those many things for them, but you're also learning. You can be an intrapreneur in those smaller places, those brandless names. As you become an entrepreneur, because they give you room to operate. If you come to established place where there's structure already, you basically follow what they have on ground. And sometimes it can even impede your own creativity and innovativeness. But in those small places, you have the advantage of you can walk to your boss and say, boss, I think we should do 1, 2, 3. He asks you a question or two, he tells you go and do it. In big firms, in big organizations, you have to go multiple ladders before you get to the top. Before you get to the ladder, they even shut you down because they feel like they have bigger fishes to fry. So I'm saying,
Yeah.
see those small places you're working at as an advantage. It's not a disadvantage. You're not being disadvantaged. It's an advantage. You must see that, you must hold that thought captive in your mind that it's an advantage. And the fact that you are wearing multiple hats. You are the guy who is the operations guy. You don't also doing admin. You are the guy who's also sometimes reviewing CVs. By all means, take all of that, absorb them in. I'm not saying it will not be stressful. It will be stressful. It will be stressful. But you know what? You are young. Stretch. That's what being young is about. It's stretching. You got to stretch because it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off when you
In the
then
long
sit
run.
in rooms where are. Now, don't just do that alone. Like what was said on this call, when you do all of that, you must have the intelligence to sit down and bring all of that together in your CV. Some way, somehow, you got to find a way to bring all of that together in your CV. When you get into interview rooms, because they've seen your CV, they've seen your profile, and all of that, that gets into a room. At that level, what will make them get into the room is the fact. Oh, let's think about it critically. If, for example, we're trying to increase market share, we're trying to grow our sales, we're trying to increase market share in a particular market, a tough market, by 10%, or let's say 50%, and all of that. That's the goal internally. And look, we don't have anybody internally that's able to help us focus on this market. There's nobody who understands that local nuance. Whereas you are here, working with a very small, unbranded, very unknown competitor. You are doing that in your very small space. You are getting wins already in that small space, right? If I check it and see that this guy looks like our solution, because I see him is in this market, I'm seeing his posts about the stuff he's doing in this market and all of that. I've seen his work along this expertise line. Because I'm looking for results. At that point, I want him to come in. Because we many times think that there are many smart people in the world, but there are not many good talents in the world. Trust me. For as someone who has had to
The
sit
recruiter's side of you.
and sat down in interview rooms and interview people, and I'm like, I can't correlate their CVs with what they're telling me in the room. And I can't, they're so far apart. I'm wanting somebody write your CV for you. Because I can't correlate their thoughts.
I think
All right?
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a bit. Sorry to cut you short.
Sure.
The guys that have good CVs versus very horrible experiences versus the guys that seemingly are working so hard, but their CVs are not on par to the standard that you hire for. What do you think are some of the mistakes that these guys that seemingly may know how to do the job, what mistake are they making in terms of their CVs? What are these common mistakes that they can correct so that they can be on par with these guys?
They're not showing their achievements enough on their CVs. Achievement.
storytelling.
Now in your CV, don't show me your responsibilities. I don't want to, do you get my, don't show me, because what we do in CVs today is that we just show what your responsibilities are. So I'm marketing manager responsibilities. I don't want to see that. I know what your responsibilities are. I have an idea what your responsibilities are. What I don't know, what I'm guessing is what are the results you have gotten in that role. So tell me, I ran an integrated campaign with minimal budget, X amount of budget that gave us this amount of result at the end of the campaign. That makes sense to me. I started the quarter. We started Q4 in 2025 at this particular market share. At the end of Q4, we moved by 2.4 pp due to this strategy I did. Now that makes sense to me. I'm seeing you as a solution provider. I'm seeing you as a result-oriented person. I'm seeing you as somebody that can help me get results. You're not only sharing with me what you did, what result you got. You're also showing me some of the things that were done. You're giving me a snapshot of things that were done. You want your CV speaks to me first before you talk to me, before you even have a chance to talk to me. So ensure your CV is loud enough. And then those achievements, don't put them at the end of your CV. At that top where you're putting all those stories of this thing, you are putting all those stories, bro. AI wrote those things for you. I know that. I know AI wrote those things for you. Where your achievements are, where my eyes are going to. So don't spend your time telling me the school you went to. I don't care. Show me. I want to quickly see, because that first page, I feel like that's one very critical place.
I agree.
You can get my attention within the first 15 seconds. Yes, there are things I'm seeing percentages, I'm seeing growth, I'm seeing revenue, I'm seeing those things. I want to then look into it critically, and it grabs my attention. I want to look into it critically. My point is this: make sure your CV is loud with your achievements. Beyond any other thing, make sure it's loud with achievements, and don't undermine the achievement. So don't say this one is a small achievement. Now, don't go and say. Use your discretion. Not the kind of achievements. A Google, for example, there are things that they want to see. Give them what they want to see. You get what I mean? Yeah, give them what they want to see. I think it's basically just putting the right achievement there. You see, the guys who have poor results but very good CV, they get interviews. It's just that they just waste our time in the interview room. We offer like, guy, you're saying crap here right now. And you know the other thing, if they're able to communicate in interviews, they will scale through those interviews very well. Very well. If they're able to speak the language and speak it very well, if they meet people who are not, if they meet interviewers who don't get their hands dirty, because the talent acquisition guy, his job is just to see culture fits, see if he's done it before he moves to the guy who is looking for the role. If that guy is not very hands-on, pretty much, if the guy is not very hands-on, the guy can just speak those high-level languages and scale through, because he has a good CV, not because he knows how to do the work. And then he gets the job. Then we don't tell him, "Oh yeah, come up with a brief for this campaign we want to run." The guys ask you, "What's a brief?" You're wondering, "Bro, you say you've done this one." Ask me, "What's a brief?" You know, those kind of things. So we can go through all of those other things, but about how to go through those interviews in a sense, and how to be confident, because you can know it and not be confident, and you look like. Because you're not in the room, it's just a laptop in front of you. You feel like, we can get to that. But I'm just trying to say, let your CV speak, let your leading provide speak very well. That's your first voice before they hear your audible voice.
Yeah, I think for guys, if you're listening, let me know what lessons caught your eye in the comments. I will be highlighting this. You can see you've been very active in the comments. Thank you so much. Dorcas, I see you as well. Sorry, this is a very important point. That's why I'm trying to stretch on it, because I know a lot of people in my personal circle that they are putting out the CVs, pushing out multiple CVs for multiple roles. So number one, I know that people might not know this. So number one CV doesn't work for all job descriptions. The same CV you're putting out for a digital marketing role is not the same CV you put out for a business development role. Not the same CV you're going to put out for an ops role. And if you're doing social media management, it's not the same CV for a social media management role. It's also not the same CV for a content role. So these CVs are different for different companies. And the KPIs and achievements are also different. So you need to sit down and do the research before you submit that CV. It's not about quantity anymore. some of these things used to pass, from 3, 4 years ago. Right now, you might not even pass the ATS, right? You might not even pass the ATS checker right
Yes.
now. So it's very important that you do your research, you apply with the CV, and then we're saying on your CV, it's important you list out the achievements you've done and how you've contributed to business outcome in the particular role that you want to get. So you're saying in this role, I achieved this for this company, and tentatively, I'm going to do that for your company. So now we've talked about the difference between some of these guys, because we've seen a lot of great guys that go on to, you know, not get interviewed, right? And then we've seen some people that come to interviews and they are talking trash. So I understood this very early, that interview has a language. There's a language of interview, especially Sarah, and let's talk about it for a bit. Like when they say, "Tell me about yourself," and the guy is saying, "I'm the first born son of David and Goliath." So tell me about yourself is simple. So I didn't even let you talk about when they say tell me about yourself. How do you think people should navigate around? Tell me about yourself. What are the salary you're looking for? And some of these questions I think come up in
Oh yeah.
interviews, mistakes that people make around that.
Oh yeah.
So what is yours?
Oh, bro. I mean, tell me about yourself is giving you room to sell. It's giving you to sell yourself from a professional standpoint, right? So walk me
Yeah.
through. So I mean, I'll take a step back based on let me just touch on what you said last about CV. For specific strategic jobs and companies itself. Can you hear me, great man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry, my inverter is acting up. We just put it again on. Sorry, it's Nigeria. We don't have 24-hour power. All right. I'll just continue. So first, you have to understand. You have to pretty much look at the job role itself. What are the results they are looking for? What is what are your responsibilities? What you do with that is that you then go into your history and see similar results you have achieved in your history, and then begin to highlight them as a response to those things they're asking for. So they need somebody who is able to, maybe it's a customer support role, who is able to speak multiple languages, right? Who is able to who can speak some technical languages. As I mean, you've worked in a tech company before where you were a technical customer support agent, and they want somebody of that caliber, and you have done it before. Those are the things that you can then begin to narrow down on your own CV when you are engaged. Those are things you don't put on your CV, so that even the system itself, if your CV is going to pass through an automated system itself, is able to pick some of those things, because there are some keywords they're looking for. Use the keywords the keywords in the job description. Ensure those keywords find themselves in your CV, right? So you're basically looking at each of those responsibilities. You're looking at them and looking back into your history and seeing where you have done some of those things before. And now nothing is too small at that level. Put them there as part of what you have achieved, as part of what you can do and what you have done and what you can do. The system is able to pick those things very fast because you are now streamlining it to what they requested for. It's easy for you to pass through. For me, who is reviewing CVs, I don't have too much work because I'm looking for specific things. Make it easy for me to find things I'm looking for, pretty much, right? Because many times for certain roles, you can find 600, 1,000, 1,500 applications for one role, 5,000 sometimes. And nobody has time to sit down to look through 5,000 applications. So what will make you stand out first is the fact that the system can it pick out, because you use some of the keywords that were in the job description itself. Because there are those in your CV, the system is able to pick and take you out of the crowd and bring out maybe 500 out of the 5,000. It brings 10% out that has that keyword. You have left that pool to a smaller pool right now, where we can now start looking at things and make it easier. Now, you asked about interview room. Was that what you asked about? I forgot it. Interview room, right?
Yeah, like the language of interviews. When they say, "Tell me about yourself," and some of these core questions that they ask in interview.
So tell me about yourself. Is you don't want to speak outside of what they're looking for. First, you guys are looking for one, two, three. I've organized my thoughts along those lines. So I'm giving you, telling you from my experience. I'm going back in my history to tell you what I have done with respect to what you are looking for. So you're looking for, you are sitting down in a room for a business developer, as a business developer. You're looking for a business development role. Don't sit down there and be talking about what is not related to that at that point, right? Don't sit down and talk about what's not related to that at that point in time. Talk about the things that relate to business development. Oh, I have 10 years experience, and of that 10 years experience, I worked here where I was a business development manager, right? And as business development manager, I had the job of doing one, two, three, and I was able to get them. I was getting 4, 5 clients signed up weekly through this channel, through this method. I was basically handling XYZ. I gave me this result, and then after a while, I moved to this other company where I was also marketing manager. However, I did a bit of operational work there. I did some operational expansion work, but my core task was to do business development, and these were things I achieved. I brought in 1, 2, 3 amount of clients through this channel, which brought this amount of revenue to the organization, and they kept us on retainer for the next 3 years while I was there with them before I moved here. Are you seeing that this person begin to see that, okay, this person looks like what we want, because you are speaking to what we are looking for. Now, as the discussion goes on, based on what you see, the interview goes, then you cannot begin to spread it to the other things about the other things, but stay with what they're looking for. Then, but take the reading of the person who's interviewing you to determine how you then flow from that point onwards. If it takes you to other things outside of there, why not go there? If they take you somewhere, go there. Now, if it's an area of weakness for you, they go there, but move them back strategically. Find strategy to move them back to where your strength is. Just, I don't know if you want to ask more along those lines. Somebody's asking about salary. We'll get there.
So I think you'll get there. So, guys, I hope you're getting value. Please let us know in the comments, and also it's almost time for me to open the floor so I can ask you questions as we get to the end of this webinar. So let me know your question in the comment. We'll be bringing it up to ask our guests. So yeah, so sorry, you talked about the tell me about yourself part. Why I highlighted this is because I think a lot of people are having some of these issues, and I've had people in my network that I did mentor, and I tell them about this hack. Honestly, I didn't know about it earlier, and after some research, a lot of things I've done has been trial and error. And I think now it's good that we're saving some people the time that is going to take them to move from 0 to 100. So, guys, it's very important when you hear about ask about yourself, try to taper it to what they are looking for, and try to keep it under 3 to 5 minutes. Don't make it long, don't make it bulky. So let's talk about someone said salary negotiation. So I think we can just delve into that. So guys, if you have a question, let me know in the comments. I'm sorry, you can touch on 2 more questions around the interview stage, and then we move to the next section.
Okay, you want to talk about salary? So salary, salary is neither here nor there, right? First, you want to understand. You want to find out what is the average salary. What is the average salary for the role you're recruiting for in other organizations? How do you get that? Some of that. There's Glassdoor.com. I think there's Payday. Is it Pay Salary? Salary something. Salary.com or so, where you can just put the role you're recruiting for. So check to see what the range is, right? Because you also don't want to overshoot your salary expectation, because that just means that, well, I mean, if the average salary for that role is maybe $2,000, 2,002 for that role, and you are quoting 5,000 monthly, bro, they'll just tell you thank you, we'll get back to you, and that's all, right? So do your research, go to some of those sites, ask people, right? So don't waste your time on LinkedIn. Find people in those roles who can give you. Don't ask anybody for salaries. Give me a range. I'm applying for this job. Maybe there's somebody in the company, all right, who works there, a senior person or whoever. Please, I'm applying for a role here. Could you give me a range of what this role is about? Or go to a competitor. Go to speak to your competitor. Somebody competitor. add them up on LinkedIn, please. I'm recruiting for this role. Could you give me a range of what this salary? So you just have an idea. So you have a bandwidth they're working with. Pretty much, when they ask you for salary expectation, ideally, you want to move them to tell you first. And I will not act ignorant that sometimes they don't tell you first. Ideally, the ideal thing is for them to tell you, hey, what's the salary expectation? You said just let them know that, hey, I'm here to add value and I'm happy to, get to find out what your budget is for this role. In negotiation, you want the prospective employer to share their budget with you first, ideally. But usually they will bully you to tell you, we don't have a fixed budget for you right now. So just tell us what you are expecting. I mean, if you are new in that space, sometimes you have no choice than to say what your salary expectation is. But one thing you don't want to do is to give them a figure. Give them a range instead. Mm-hmm. So if your expectation is $1,500, now let me take a step back. I've said find the range. Now, when you're finding that range, don't let your small African thinking make you shrink when you see the range. Because you are used to your country's currency. And so if the money looks too big, please, no money is too big for you in that sense. Own it with your full chest. I mean, you could have been earning, I'm using Naira right now, 300,000 Naira, 400,000. And what you currently work is like big money. In fact, the biggest person in the organization is earning 600,000. That's the person everybody is aspiring to. But then you're not applying for a global role. You're saying that the average salary there for that role is 1,008 to 2,004. Stick to that 2,004 as your salary range to ask for. Stick to it. Don't play small, right? Don't play small. Stick to it. But what will get you to that point of being to stick onto it is because you have over time shown them that you are a solution provider. They have seen that this guy, we need this guy. And you probably would have felt that vibe as you engage with them. You should have shown yourself to the point where when you give them your price, they will be willing to pay the price to a large extent. Even if they will negotiate with you.
Yeah, at least they'll negotiate.
Yes, the people will negotiate with you. You also should not feel like you don't feel like the money is too good for you. That's the problem we face as Africans. Don't feel like the money is too good for you because when you finally get inside, you are going to do the work. And if you don't do the work, they're going to knock you off.
And more.
You do the work and more, bro. So in negotiation, ensure that all through that interview, you have sold yourself properly. So that when you are negotiating, don't negotiate like a suffering African. Please, I don't have to say this enough. Please, don't get to the room and start being grateful for a role that is 1,000, 2,000, and start being grateful when they give you $800, and start feeling like at least it's bigger than my current manager's salary I'm working. Because when you finally get in, you will then find out that there's somebody who is doing less work than you, earning $3,000, and they start getting angry. You will get mad, and then productivity will drop because you feel like, am I getting 800, doing 1, 2, 3, 4? There's somebody else working, doing less but earning 2x what you're earning. You get angry. My point is this: stick with the range. I mean, be flexible. Nobody's saying don't be flexible. First, like I said, let me take it back. Tell them they should give you what the range is, and always push them back to value. Let them know that, hey, I'm not so much about this right now. I'm more focused about how to get results for you, and I'm just happy at what I'm going to make when I come in, seeing my trajectory. So I'm willing to hear what your budget is. The HR will now whine you and tell that, hey, there's no, just tell us, give them the range. Now make sure that your lower limits. The lower limits there. So if you tell them 1,000 to 2,000, make sure the lower limit is the limits that you know that this. Even if they give me this lower limit, because usually they will give you the lower limit.
Yeah.
Few recruiters will give you upper limits. So just remember that the lower limit is where they're going to give to you, and don't make that. And so ensure that the lower limit is something that you are comfortable with. So if you know that you will not be comfortable with $1,000, then don't put $1,000 as your lower limit. Say 1,005 to 1,008, and don't make that range too wide. So don't put a range of between 1,000 and 5,000. Oh God, what's your problem? We don't know where you stand, man. The mean of that is 3,000. So it's far. Close range. 10%, 10, 20, 30% gap, as it were. So that it's easy for them to manage. Pretty much, they're able to manage it there, but no, just between you and I know they are coming to give you the lower limit, right? And all of that. Now, sometimes they may ask you to share your pay slip. That's another conversation. I don't know, man. That's ethically, I don't think that's correct.
We'll treat it on a case by case basis.
So treat on a case. So pretty much treat on a case by case basis. Now, if they did not bring the discussion about your current place salary up, don't, by all means, do not bring it up in the discussion. Don't say I'm any more. No, if they did not initiate the discussion of your current place where you are working, don't bring it up in terms of salary. Don't bring it up at all. So move with their flow. Don't invent a flow by saying, you know what, I'm even working. Why if you say that, then they will tell you to go and bring proof. And many times we know that our proof. You get the point? So treat on the case by case basis. Give a range. Let them speak first. If they see force you to speak, there's not much you can do in that speak. Give a range. I mean, if you show that you are flexible, but don't show desperation. True. The person who must leave the table with a deal is the weakest person on that table. The person who must leave that table with a deal is the person with the weakest person in that negotiating table. The point is this: don't show like if you don't get a job right now, your life will end. Even if we know that you want it badly, but you mustn't show it out. You mustn't, because they will prey on that. Recruiters, their own job is to get cheap talent. That's what his KPI is for. Don't help him make his KPI easy. You get what I mean? So don't show desperation. Yeah. Show like you are where you are fine also. Like I'm feeding, I'm doing well. I like at certain point you're like, hey, if it doesn't work out, it's fine. You must be able to, you must show it because you have the value to give. Yeah, trust me. Skill talent are scarce. I know what I'm saying. Some roles, there's a role. I mean, I can say public. Glovo has been they were trying to recruit head of operations. It's taking them years. I mean, I don't know why it's tough for them to get that. Yeah, it took them well over a year. You know why? Skill talent are scarce. Now they may have their own internal problems where they are looking for too much and all of that. But truth, I've interviewed people over the last 2-3 years. Bro, skill talent, people that have sense, they are very scarce. Trust me, people know how to package on LinkedIn, but they don't have sense. You can be the one that have sense and speak very well. And when you know that, own it, and don't be scared to negotiate. Yeah.
Don't be scared to negotiate your value. Don't negotiate like a suffering African. I just quoted it. So, guys, if you're having some great insight from this conversation, you can always share your lessons on LinkedIn as well. Tag myself, tag Osaro. I will always be in your comment as well. If you have questions for our guests, please leave it in the comments. I see that Dorcas has a question here. I mean, the salary conversation is a conversation that will take us into tomorrow, right? But I think Osaro has dwelt sufficiently on that. And so, Osaro, this question comes from Dorcas. It says, good evening, sir. Are you saying the experience part in our CV is meant to be filled with what we achieved and not necessarily the duties?
Oh, put your duties, right? But I can already tell. I mean, if you tell me that you are a marketing manager or you are a business development person, I can already tell. I have an idea what your duties are. 3-4 lines as duties, but the rest must be filled with achievements. Right? I mean, your duties are one-liners, 1 line, 2 liners, but your achievements are the things that. So maybe what you can even do, duty, what you have achieved along those lines. Duty, whatever. So it's different. For my CV, I put my duties 2-3 lines, right? And then my achievement are the things that then fill up that fill more of it. You can go check my LinkedIn page. I don't think my LinkedIn page is the best in the world. It's not the best in the world. But yeah, you see that I have achievements, more of achievement than responsibilities.
I think that makes a lot of sense. So guys, if you have another question, you can leave it in the comments. Sarah, I think just 2 more questions, then we can call it a night. This has been really, really resourceful, and I believe that the audience also gained sufficient value from this as well. I can see from their comments, a lot of them are re-echoing what we are sharing in this conversation. So let's talk about AI for a bit and how AI is reshaping remote work. So where do you see um, how much impact do you think AI is influencing remote work today? And how do you think that people that are applying today or people that are working today can position themselves, to be part of this ecosystem? Or do you think it won't take our jobs? Like, what are your thoughts?
Mhm. I mean, so AI, I mean, the days of AI being a bonus tool that if you know how to use it, it's fine. If you don't, it's fine. No, that those eras are past. AI is part of our lives right now, and it's a necessity that it's plugged into your work life with the mindset of it improving your productivity, doubling your output, right? So every job function you must find where you can infuse AI. Like it's a non-negotiable right now. But what I'm seeing is the fact that AI will basically take off some of those non-strategic roles, right? Those
Okay.
non-strategic roles, non those roles that do not require human input from maybe for empathy, you know, yeah. So it's basically take out those non-strategic roles. For example, things like taking
Data
notes at
entry.
meeting, data entry, some admin roles, taking notes at meetings. You have is it Fireflies, Otter AI, doing all of those things. So some of those non-strategic roles that people would waste their time on before. AI is already doing all of those things. And I mean, those things, I mean, like their productivity tools, you probably into work right now. To the end that if you are in those spaces, if you are in those spaces where you know that your what you're doing right now is such that it's not very strategic, it's something that is easily AI can do it and it won't mean anything. You want to then pivot out of those areas ASAP, ASAP, ASAP for it to function properly in remote global remote workplaces. You want to pivot out as quickly as possible. And for you that you are in roles that yes, there has to be a good. You have to see how does AI where is the handshake between myself and AI in this my role, so that AI basically becomes an answer of your productivity and output itself, right? Are there things in
Yeah.
your current role that are routine based and are monotonous that you don't have to be doing, right? That AI can just do for you, right? So, for example, I mean, I did a presentation this week. All I needed to do was to send. I basically worked on the full plan in my head of what I wanted, put in a document, in a doc, the structure of what I wanted to present, put in a doc,
Yeah.
basically emptied my brain into it in Word documents. It was like one and a half pager, two pager, and then sent to AI to make it a PowerPoint for me, right? McKinsey style PowerPoint. Prior, I would have had to sit down to be looking for to be designing slides and
Yeah.
all whatnot, which would that sometimes can take good hours, 3 4 hours of your time, which could have been used to do other productive stuff. Now I don't have to do that anymore. Now, if it was, I mean, if I'm presenting a marketing campaign to a client and all of that, you see how that comes in to help me. So it means that I can work on 3 4 slides in one day for different clients. They're based on their different needs. I just empty
Yeah.
my thought into a document, send it to AI. I can go and rest so that AI will do the job of working on the slides. When I come back, my job is just to review and remove a few things here, put a few things there. It has saved me the time. My point is, you have to start looking at AI. How does it plug in for you? You see, I mean, the tech guys, engineering guys, they're using AIs to write codes right now, basically just helping them to,
My coding.
so it's really just looking at how it can infuse, but it's a non-negotiable right now that we are going to have to we are going to have to work with it. You are going to have to work with. You are going to have to use to learn how to work with it because it's going to put you ahead right now. The person, an employee that uses AI in their work, ideally would have more output than the guy who doesn't use AI in this day and time. So imagine right now my contemporary in Europe, for example, where if we are both marketing leads, I need to come up with some deck, or we're both business development guys, we need to come up do a presentation tomorrow to four different clients. I would have finished my slides while he's trying to do that manually and all that. My output will be better because AI is helping me to speed up that process and all of that. So embrace AI. You have to learn to use AI. Embrace it. So look at how it plugs into your work right now, and embrace
Mhm.
it. Learn how to use it. Learn how to communicate with it and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, I don't see any questions, so I assume that we all understood what our guest was talking about. If you have a question, this is your last chance to write it in the comments so that we can bring it up for our speaker. So, Saru, I think just one more thing. Let's say someone is joining us for the first time and hasn't heard everything you had talked about. Someone is saying clock it in the comments. Hasn't heard what you've talked about. Was one sentence, one statement you think that you can live with them?
Um, be bold. Don't be scared to apply to certain roles. Go out there, apply. Ensure that you're also loud with your achievement. No achievement is too small. Ensure you're loud with your achievements. Don't put your lights under a bushel. Shine your lights. Don't be shy to shine your lights. Um, your success will speak for itself many times in this day and time. There's noise everywhere. There's noise everywhere. So your success has been overshadowed by the noise everywhere. So you got to speak for it. Talk about your success. Get into those rooms with confidence. When you get into those rooms where you are being interviewed, be confident. Be confident. Be super confident. Your confidence, people feel your confidence, right? If you need to practice it, you can even use AI to practice it. Get AI tools that will sit as an interviewer for you. Let them use different personalities to run your interview. You respond to the interview questions. AI will then give you feedback on how you performed. It can prepare you for the real life interviews. Get there with confidence. Having been in several interview rooms, the guys who are confident, you have to do a lot to be able to go through to see the real details about them because their confidence speaks for them. It's language itself. Confidence itself is language. It's speaking. It's communication itself. Own it very
True.
well. And don't go there with your poor African mindset. Go there with the fact that you deserve these roles and you deserve whatever they pay. No money is too big for you. No money is too big. No money is too big for you. No benefit is too good for you. Own it. Knowing full well that you are strong and you can make this happen, especially and because you know that you have done it before. You have done it on a smaller stage. Why get scared when you are now in a bigger stage? There's nothing special. You've done it here, you will do it there. So go there with the mindset that
Yeah.
I've done it before, yet do it. And all of that. So go with confidence. Face them with confidence. I'm not saying be arrogant. Don't be rude. But they should know that you know what you know and stick on what you know. Right? So let's go for it in 2026. Go for it.
Yeah, be bold, go for it. I think in summary, that summarizes everything we've talked about today. So, guys, I hope this was very insightful for you. I'm looking forward to your testimonials and looking forward to these results. You can always share with us, share your lessons from this class on LinkedIn. Tag myself, Tag Osaro. I'm happy to share you on. Thank you, everyone. Osaro, thank you once again for gracing our webinar, and hopefully we can bring you back again for a part two because I feel like there are a lot of things we didn't unpack, but I'm just going to save you for a later episode. So, guys, thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your weekend.
Thank you so much, guys.